Hello everyone and welcome back once again. In the last video, I was able to conclude the model validation component and also developed the prediction pipeline. And in that session, I was able to develop the pipeline in such a way that it's going to handle or process user input data before making the prediction. So in that session, you saw that we are able to load the preprocessor object as well as the model, and they will be working simultaneously. So after preprocessing the user data, then we use the model to make inference based on that user data. Today we will be developing a web application, and I will be using Flask. Also, I will be using Streamlit so that we are able to develop these dynamic dashboards so that we are able to visualize the predictions as new data comes in. Also, an additional thing to that is that we'll also use Mailtrap such that we develop the capability to send personalized messages to different customers depending on their churn levels. So, for example, customer that is showing signs of churning, then we are going to send a different type of message from that customer that our model has predicted that they are still active customers. Okay. Also, since we are going to since our data is going to be in production, that means we are going to be making predictions on data that is in production. We'll also we'll create a new collection in MongoDB so that that new database is able to store these predictions generated by the model, and thus it will help us, enable us to retrain the model in future based on this data in production, just in case our model degrades, because this is a common element in models in production. So as the model degrades, then we should be having sufficient, at least new data that we can use to retrain the model. Okay, so basically that's what we'll be trying to develop in this video. So once again, I'm Western Onzere, and this is Minic Analytics, where we show you how to build, deploy, and monitor your machine learning and AI systems in production. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and let's get started. So this is just a flowchart that is representing what we will be developing under this in this session. So as you can see, our system or our machine learning model is going to accept input data. So you can see this is the input data. So we are going to accept input data, and it might, for this case, the customer is not going to input this data. So we are going to collect data from the different users, then maybe combine that data into something like a CSV file or any type of format that might be applicable. But for this case, we're just focusing on the CSV file. So that data will be grouped together, then into format like a CSV file. Then we are going to import that data into the system. So when we import this data or input this data into the system, then we are going to make a request to the system that this is new data. Try to make predictions on this data. Try to predict the customer churn based on this data. So we are making that request to the model. But before we make predictions on that data, then we need to preprocess that data. Okay, so that's why we were able to, in the prediction pipeline, we were able to import the preprocessing object, and that preprocessing object contains the instructions that will help us to preprocess or transform this user data. And that preprocessing object, we were able to develop that during the model, I think it was during the data transformation stage of our machine learning model. So that is the input preprocessing phase of this Flask application. So after we are able to preprocess this data, then in a similar way that we did preprocess our training data, then that's where the model now comes in. Now we are able to pass this data through the model, and the model will make predictions on that data. And during the training model, we saw that our model was quite good. It was with an accuracy of about 90%. And when you look at the precision and the recall, it was about, again, so basically when you look at the F1 score, which is something like a harmonic mean between the precision as well as the recall, we saw that again it was about 0.9, 91%. So we can see that our model is working good as of now. So that is now using the model to generate the predictions based on that data that we are injecting into the system. So once the model makes predictions, then that will be the response from the model. Now, as you can see, that is the response, and the response is in terms of the predictions. So we did have 3 classes. So we had class 0, which represents that customer this is a churned customer. We also had class 1, which represents that a customer is showing signs of churning. So basically, we label that as like being the activity is unpredictable. And we had class 2, which represents that this customer is still active. Okay, so the response from the model will be either 0, 1, or 2. Then after we have generated that response based on these classes, then we are able to now send different messages to the different clients now based on their churn levels. Okay, now, and that now we will be using Mailtrap. So I'll just show you how we can integrate Mailtrap into this Flask application. So once we are done with that, then generating the response, then sending an email to the client or customer, then we need to store that data such that it will enable us to retain our model in case of the model degradation. So we will create a new, not going to create a new one, but we're just going to create a new collection in MongoDB, and that collection will be storing the predictions as well as the new data that is coming in. So we'll create something like a database to store that data. And as I said, that data will be very important when we are going to retrain our model. So we won't go back to get the data that we did use while training the model, but I will just focus more on the data that in short terms, the in production data. Okay, so that I think completes something like a loop. So you can see we started from here, then we went to now sending the message. Then after this, then we store our data into something like a database. Once this is done, in case we need to retrain our model, then something like this. So this is something like that loop. So user input, send a message, store that data, then using that data for modeling, for retaining the model. Okay, so basically that is the flowchart of the entire system, the entire Flask web application. So here you can see we have introduced another tool, that is the Mailtrap. So let me show you how you can set up the Mailtrap before we start the actual coding process. So I have already, so you can just search for Mailtrap and create an account with Mailtrap. So Mailtrap is good because it gives you this demo option that you don't need necessarily to pay for this demo option. So you can just use it for free, then try to test if your model is or your system is working good. So this is the home, something like a dashboard. So you can see email testing, test email on staging, in dev, and something like quality assurance environments. So you can see start testing, like fake SMT server, cover all the testing scenarios with the Mailtrap, preview and validate the HTML. So you can see the different things that you can use Mailtrap. So for my case, I have already done the whole process. Again, it's not that hard. So you can just follow the instruction and it will guide you through on how to set this demo account. So for my case, this is my demo mailtrap.com. So this is something like a domain. This is something like a domain that you are given for free, and you'll be using this to test your model. So to set things up, so you can just go to sending domains. I think, is it sending domains? So there, before we go that, you can see there are different options in terms of stats. So if you are sending emails, then your stats will appear here. So you can see the stats, the mailbox providers. You can see, in my case, I'm using Google. So this is my account. You can see the different messages that I've been trying on just different systems. So you can see that. And in terms of separation, so these other tools, as we progress by, we'll try to integrate these other tools that and learn more with Mailtrap. Of course, you can use any other tool, but for my case, I found for my research, I found that Mailtrap is quite easy to set up, and you don't need to worry about a lot of things. And so far, they are giving you a free domain that you can use to practice. So for that, let's just jump into. You can see they have an option of email testing. So for the different projects. Then so let's go to the sending domain. So once you create you set up your free account with the Mailtrap, then this sending domain is just a free one that you are given, so you don't need to pay for it. So for this domain, if you have your own domain, then you can add this domain here, but I don't have one at the moment. So I'm just going to use this free one. So when you click on this, you can see this domain verification. The goodness with the Mailtrap again is that all this is already pre-configured for you, so you don't need to don't have the hassle to set everything up. This is already pre-configured for you just to get started. Okay, so for this case, this is the domain verification. Verify that your domain, verify your domain to allow Mailtrap to send emails from this. So this is already pre-configured, so I won't be dealing much in this. So my main concern is this integration, because we are going to integrate Mailtrap onto the Flask web application. And from here, you can see we are given two options. One is the transactional stream as well as the bulk stream. For the transaction, this one is you'll be sending emails to one recipient at a time. But because for my case, I chose to use with the bulk stream for promotional emails to multiple recipients at a time. So I decided to use the bulk stream because this is a channel model. I expect that we are dealing with many customers. So sending an email once to one recipient at a time is quite hectic. But if we just send with the bulk stream, then that makes work easier for us. So you just go to click on this button on integration. And from here, you can see you can either use the SMTP or the APIs. But for my case, the APIs, you can see we have the C#, C++, the Golang, Java, Node.js, Ruby. Okay, then from here, you can see we have the Python. This is the URL. You can see request post. But for my case, I'm just going to use the SMTP. This is the easier version for that. Then you can see for the Python, I'm just going to use the Flask mail, so to make our work easier. So in case when we will be integrating Mailtrap into our working environment, then just copy this. We just copy this and use these settings to configure the Flask mail extension, because that is what we are going to be using when sending those emails. Okay. So also for the MongoDB, I'm using the Atlas. Then you can again, they give you a free, you can call it a free account with the MongoDB Atlas. So from here, you can see we have this database Churn. Inside we had the web Churn, which if you have been following through, when we did start developing this model, I prepared something like a data lake. So the web Churn is the data lake, and the transformed data is the one that we did use to develop our model. So under this database again, we'll create a new collection, and that collection will store now the new data, the data in production. Okay, for the as our model, as we deploy a model and it makes a prediction for data in production, it will be stored in a new. I will create a new collection in our Flask during when developing that Flask web application to handle that. Okay, so I think for this case I don't have much to talk about MongoDB. Again, this is just a simple. You can create if you haven't created an account with MongoDB, then they give you around 500 MB, 500, half a GB in terms of free space that you can use for testing and practice. Okay. So this is my database. So when it comes to maybe connecting the database, then we'll use this. I will use this URI to connect to any day, but I'll show you when we reach there. Okay. So I think you have now explained to you the different tools. The Mailtrap, you can see how you can set it up and what things you need to copy when developing that web application. And I've also taken you through the MongoDB Atlas to see where we are going to store our data in production. So let's now start the actual coding part. Okay. So I'll just go to the app.py. Then I think I'll just do away with this. Just do away with that. Don't need it at the moment. So, and then let me increase the font so that they are visible. I think by now, it's now okay. Let's start that process. So as usual, we are going to start by importing the necessary libraries. So for this case, we are going again, say from Flask. Supposed to be from, so from Flask. From Flask, we're going to import. Going to import a Flask request. Also going to import JSONify. Also, we are going to import render template. Supposed to be request, yeah. Request JSONify render template. And we'll also use pandas, so import pandas as p. We're also going to Flask mail. So again, from Flask, from Flask mail, we are going to import mail and message. Mail and message. Then from PyMongo, we're also going to import Mongo client. Then other things like OS. Do we need OS anyway? Then custom modules such as the logger, prediction pipeline, and all that. We are going to import those. Then I think that is good. Then after this, we need now to start creating the Flask application. So that is app, and that is the Flask. And underscore name. Underscore name. So that is the Flask app. Then we need to configure the Mailtrap. Configure the Mailtrap. That. So when configuring this Mailtrap, then I think we can just go back. Mailtrap, as I said, we just copy everything here. So you can just copy this, then you can paste it here. And I think for the password, you can just change this to this. But I do understand that this is not the correct for case sensitive like the password, the port, the mail server, and all those. We can just run this in the terminal. Then you just import those as then you can just read them as from the environment itself. Okay, but for demonstration purposes, I'll just show you how to set it up. Then maybe in the next in future you try to run this as environment variables, and then you just import them using the os.get environment function. Okay, so that, then the next thing is about the Mongo connection string. So we then create the Mongo connection. Then again, this is case sensitive. You should be running this in the terminal as an environment variables. So URI, then the Mongo URI, I will use this. Just use this. So where do you get this? So in your MongoDB, when connect, so just click the button connect, and I'm using the compass one. Then I just copy this link and copy that link and just paste it under this variable. Then after that, we need to now start the Flask application. Let's start with now creating the route for homepage. So the route for homepage, we can say route for homepage. Say it's up.route. Let's use up.route, and then we create a function. So this is the home. So under home, we need to return the render, so the render template, and this template will be, that template will be home.html. So I think we did create dev.home, supposed to be, I think we are good. So the home.html, so this is the HTML file. So I had already done it. So as you can see, this is just like a page that is going to welcome the user and maybe provide some few instructions on what to do. So you can see we have the churn prediction as a title for that page. Then you can see we have heading 1, some message like welcome to churn prediction system. Then to predict the churn risk for your customers, please follow the steps. Then this is just some styling from CSS. You can see we have this folder static, the styles.css. Then it contains the stylings for those HTML pages. So then we have the home.html. Then as you can see, it's just a welcoming page, a simple welcoming page for the user. So also remember that I think the word static and templates, I think this is the commonly acceptable names when naming these folders. So the templates contain like the home index results.html. Then for terms of styling, they are contained in a folder called static. So after that, then we need to now create the route for uploading data and making a prediction. So after the home page, then you'll be directed to click a button. I think we have provided that tool here. So you can see you can class, we have created this button start prediction. So you click on that start prediction, and I think you'll be taken to now the second HTML file where you'll be uploading the data and making the prediction. So from this, again, we are going to start create the route for that. So upload route predict /predict slash predict. Then we have the method get and the method post. Then now this we are going to predict predict a data point. So if the request is let's start with get. If the request is get, then we are going to just do away with this. So if the request is get, then again we are going to return a render template, and that will be the index.html. So the index.html, you can see this will be the title upload data. So it will be instructed to upload the data. So you can see title here, upload customer data. Then name of that file will be like a CSV file. Then we have the button submit. So this button here, I think like predict. When you click on that, then now the predictions will start. So let's complete this. So if the request is method get, then relay or render the index.html. Then, and if the request method is post, then some other things are supposed to follow through. So let's complete that. So let me just accept. Let's just create the exception. This will be file operation error. E. Then logging error occurred while reading the file. And return JSONify error, and some error occurred when during a prediction. So you can something like that. So an error occurred during a prediction. We need this. I think we need this. That one is good to go. So inside the try except block, there are some things that we are going to include. So the first thing is if the CSV file, so let's create here some conditional statement. So if CSV, I think it's supposed to be CSV, if CSV file is not in request.files, so if it's not in request.file. So if we request this file and it's not present, then we need to create, if it's not supposed to be not in, not is not. So if CSV file not in request file, then we can print some logging error, no CSV file in request.files. So that's good. Then we return an error, no file part in the request. Yeah. Also another conditional statement. Then before we generate that, then we need to, yeah. So CSV file request.files, CSV.file. Yeah. So another conditional statement is that if CSV file file name, so if this again is empty, if this is empty, then we need to raise another error. So logging error, no selected file. Then we are going to return this error 400, error no file was selected. So if, for example, we click the predict button or the submit button and we have not loaded this CSV file, then it will generate this error. So those are just some conditional statement to make sure that we either upload the data and we upload the correct data. So after that, then we need to, so for example, we have passed this and we have seen that we have loaded the correct data and that the CSV.file name is not empty. Then so that data that we need to load the CSV file into something like a data frame. So for easy manipulation, so we can say df pd.read, nope, supposed to be df pd.read. So we are reading that, converting that into a pandas data frame. Then from there are some things that we need to consider. For example, this if name. So if name, then not in df.columns or in email, supposed to be email here. So email again, not in df.columns. So when we were training our model, so you can see when we, let me show you. So under the schema.yaml, you can see that we don't have the name or the email of those respective customers because when developing this model, we didn't maybe require the name or their email addresses. Okay, so maybe they got ejected just because they were unique values in those columns, and unique values don't add up any meaningful information for our model. So we are able to kick those out. So when again, when we are developing our model, we need to create another conditional statement to make sure that as the new data that is coming in, it has to contain the email and the name, because we are going to use those when sending those messages. So we need to make sure that our data contains those two features. So we are just creating these conditional statement to guarantee that. If that is not the case, then we raise this error. So logging error requires required columns, that is the name and email, are not found in the CSV file. Then we return this JSONify this error 400 to denote that. So after that, we need to create nope, supposed to be 400. So that's no, something I'm missing here. So it's supposed to be 400. So the next thing is that let me create a new variable here. Names. I think this will store the name, and then we'll have the email. So we are extracting those from our data frame, and we can call that, let's say, emails. Then this is supposed to be names. Then you can say df. Then we say the brackets email. So again, when making predictions, we don't need this, but after we make the predictions, we need to reattach those to the respective examples or rows in our data frame before we send those messages. So I'm going to start by dropping these columns. So df, can say df drop. So I'm using the drop function. Inside the brackets, I specify the different columns. So that is the column name as well as the column email, column name and column email. So this should be inside the parentheses. So no, supposed to be inside the one single, not double ones. So we are going to drop. So df.drop, that's the columns, that is the name as well as the email. So after we have dropped those columns, then we need to initialize the prediction pipeline. Initialize the prediction pipeline, and when initializing that, we can call that say prediction pipeline. Prediction pipeline, that is the prediction pipeline, and then so this is the initialization part. Then after that, we need to now make predictions. So make predictions. When making the predictions, you can call it predictions. So just call this prediction pipeline. So prediction pipeline. Then you pass in the data frame. So this is supposed to be predictions, supposed to be prediction pipeline. Sorry for the spelling, prediction pipeline. Then after that, after making the predictions, we need now to update the database. When updating the database, I'll create a function. So update database. Then the df database with the df. Then after we are done with that, we need to send the email notifications to the recipients. So send email notifications to the recipients. I just create something like a for loop. So for I row in df dot the rows. Yep, that one's good. So for I row in df dot iterate through the rows, then send email. For this email, again, it will be row email. Then the row, set this row, this will be the name. Then row again, churn risk score. So churn risk score. So I think and email, row name, row churn risk score. And after that, we need to return render template. And for the render template, this will be now the results. .html. So with the render template, results.html. So this is the prediction results title. So it will prediction complete. The predictions have been made and the emails have been sent to the client. So once you get this notification in the web application, that means that everything is set. So the predictions have been made and the emails have been sent to the clients. So I think we are doing something like batch prediction. This is not a real-time prediction. This is a batch prediction. So I think up to now everything is set. But maybe let me just try to take you through again what is happening, especially when we talk of the route of uploading the data and making the prediction. So for example, in this route, route, you can see that it is part of the Flask application, web application that will handle the predictions of the churn risk score. So you can see that the application is going to receive a CSV file containing the user data and user data including their names and the emails, and make predictions using the prediction pipeline that we prepared. And then the prediction then stored in the MongoDB database, and an email notification is sent to each recipient with their corresponding churn, according to their corresponding churn risk score. So you can see that this is the route, and you can see this is the route for the prediction, and we have this function, predict data point function. And then inside this function, you can see we first check if the request is get, and if the request is get, and then the function returns the index.html template for the user to upload the CSV file. So it contains the instructions that the user will use to upload the CSV file. And if the request is post, you can see that the code first checks if the CSV file key exists in the request.file. So in the request.file, it checks for that if this file exists. And if it does not, it logs an error and returns the JSON response with an error message. I think no file, but in the request. So after that, then so after that, you can see that under the with this one here, again, we are checking to see if the file name is empty. So if the file name is empty, again, we are going to return this error. But if those conditions are met, then now we are going to load the CSV file and convert that into a pandas data frame. And after loading that, we are going to check if we're going to check if the required columns, that is the name and the email, exists in the data frame. And if it does not, again, we're going to raise an error. And then the columns name and emails are extracted from that, are dropped from the data frame, and then we initialize, we drop those, then we initialize the prediction pipeline. Then after initializing the prediction pipeline, we make the prediction. So we just pass in that variable that contains our data inside the prediction pipeline. Then after that, we make the prediction. And after that is done, then the update a database function is called with the updated data frame as input, and this function saves the data frame to the new MongoDB collection that we created. Then after that, the code then iterates over each row in the data frame, and we are going to use the send mail function to send an email notification to each recipient with their corresponding churn risk score. So after that, I think we return this. Then if there's an error, we have created this custom exception to raise any sort of error that might be encountering. So after that, so we need to create this function to update the database and as well as to send that email. Let's start with the function to send email. So function send, supposed to be sender, function send email. So function send email. So we said that we passed in the parameters, and the first parameter is the recipient, the second one is the name, and the third one is the prediction. Recipient, name, prediction. Then we need to create a subject. So the subject for this will be, let me use small. So subjects for this case will be account status notification. Account status notification. Account status notification. I think that one is good. Then we can specify that if the prediction is 2, no, let's move the is. So if the prediction is 2, then the text that we are going to send, so that's the text, we'll say dear supposed to be, yep, so dear name, so name of that client, so dear name, comma, we are happy to inform you that your subscription is in good standing. Add something like stay we add that or not? Dear customer, dear name, we are happy to inform you that your subscription is in good standing. That one is good to go. Then we can also say that elif if the prediction, again this if the prediction is 1, this one you can create another text and say that again dear, again name, your subscription, the subscription is nearing renewal. Your subscription is nearing renewals, so please take the necessary actions. So please take the necessary action, and then you can add contact support or additional help. Then I think that one is good. Then if, and lastly, else, can you say text block, then you can say dear name, so that we noticed some issues, with your subscription. Please contact support. Or we can just say your subscription is nearing, your subscription has expired. Your subscription has expired. And just say something like this. So please renew. Please renew your subscription to continue enjoying our services. Yep, I think that one is good. We are happy to inform that your subscription is in good standing. So this is just a simple message that we are creating. Then after this is done, what we need now to do, if else, so now we create the message subject. Now we create the message. So let's create a message. That is the message for the message function. Then subject, then the sender subject. Now the sender, that sender will be Mailtrap. So mail trap, Mailtrap at so it will be Mailtrap at demo Mailtrap. So demo mailtrap.com. Also the recipient. So the recipient, this will just be the recipient. Recipient. Then the message body. Message body will be the text, so the text that we have been providing here. Then to send the message, we are going to use, so with app, this is a function, so app underscore context text. Then we send the message now. So mail dot send, and we pass in the function msg, the message itself. So mail dot send is supposed to be mail dot send. The message should be the text, so message will be message body. The message body is now the text. Then after that is done, then can now compile this. So app dot app underscore context, then mail dot send. I think that one is good, so that would be msg, the message. I don't know why we are getting this issue here. Mail up, so there's something we missed up here. So yep, there's something we missed. So for the mail, supposed to be the mail into brackets up. That's the reason as to why we were getting that. So with the send email, we corrected for this. So for the updating database, so let's complete that. So after the message is sent, we need to update our database. So I create a function for that. Therefore update database. Then now we can say df with that function. Then from here, we can say something like this saves the transformed data frame to a new MongoDB collection. Okay, so that one we start creating the client. That client is the Mongo. Client will be the Mongo client. Inside the brackets, we pass in that link, so that is the Mongo URI. So Mongo underscore URI, Mongo URI. Then the database, so DB, that is the collection that we are going to. The collection is supposed to be clients. So for the client, now the client, that is the, I think supposed to be, yeah, done. So that is the client. Then for the collection, that is the DB. Then we just provide a new name, new collection name. So that is the production done date. So basically this is the new collection name that we are creating. So we don't want to have a mix up. Then after that, we need to convert the data frame to dictionary, convert that to a dictionary and insert into MongoDB, and that to MongoDB. Let me just create some space here. Then create something like a data dictionary. So data dictionary, I'll just call it df to dictionary. So use that function, so to dict. Then now we can say records After that, we can pass in the collection. So collection dot insert, because we are inserting many. So use the insert many function. So many insert many. We are inserting the dictionary, and after that we can print some message to say that this process is successful. So data saved to MongoDB collection. MongoDB collection. I think I can say production churn date, and call it production churn data. I think we are good there to go. I think we are having some issues here. Let me just complete, then we can correct it. So again, after this we need to run the Flask app, and when running that, if name underscore then main and call that app dot run. Let me provide the host. For the host, that is 0.0.0.0.0. Then listening port. So the port will be 8080, and for the debug, just keep it true at the moment. Host 0.0.0.0 port 8080 debug 2 is supposed to be Flask. So data insert many dictionary. So there is something I'm missing here. Save to data collection. So client, Mongo client, Mongo URI. It's supposed to be not df, so db. DB is supposed to be client churn. Then the collection should be db. Production churn data. Production, this is the new collection name. Then we convert the data frame to a dictionary, insert to MongoDB. So data dictionary, df to dictionary. So that's the records. Collection, insert many, then print data saved to MongoDB collection, production churn data. So I do think up to now everything is good to go. So predictions, I think we have an issue here. So predictions, there is something we are missing here. Then we forgot one thing. We need to add the predictions to the data frame. Yeah? To add the predictions to the data frame. Then so that is a df churn risk score. So churn risk score. This one should be now predictions. So prediction pipeline. And predictions, these are predictions. So churn risk score. Churn risk score. Then row churn risk score. I'm just checking to confirm if everything. So I'm just checking to see if everything is okay. Okay, I'm seeing some errors that I encountered in the CSV file, not in. So it's supposed to be, instead of a request.file, supposed to be a request.file. So I forgot this S here. Just correct that. Make sure that you avoid this typing errors. Also, remember we forgot to reattach the email. So after we have made the predictions, these predictions, remember they don't have the name and the email. We dropped those. So after we have made the predictions, we need to reattach the name and the emails to make sure that when we are making those predictions, when we are sending those emails, that we attach the name of that specific customer, and then we use the emails to set the emails. So the email in their emails now to send that message, so that we have the recipient emails in place. Also, so after we have reattached the email, then we need to update our database. Also, another thing, this one here, we forgot to include the make predictions. I do think when we look at our prediction pipeline, let's go to our prediction pipeline. We had this function, this one here, make prediction. So this function is the one that we do need to use when making those predictions, because as you can see, we first load the preprocessor object to preprocess the data. Then after that, we load the model to make the prediction. So this function, make predictions, is the one that we do need to include this step, such that after initializing our pipeline, that's the prediction pipeline. So this one here, this class here. So after initializing this class, because we are importing that prediction pipeline, as you can see, we are importing that one here. So after initializing that class, then we need to use the specific function. So that function in that class, and that function is the make predictions, and we pass in the data frame, this one here, as our parameter, so that we make predictions based on the data in this data frame. Okay, then I think everything is good. So just make sure you have the correct sender mail. So that is Mailtrap demo mailtrap.com, and make sure that recipient is recipients with an S here. I think I forgot that previously. Then the recipient, that one is okay. Then the message, text, and message, everything is okay. So I do think up to now everything is okay. And for the debug, to avoid a lot of issues, just use false, or you can just do away with it for good if you don't want it. But I'm just using false for these purposes. But can use true. So for the debug purposes, if you are going to encounter some errors, then it will help you to raise those errors. So I do think up to now everything is set. For my case, I already have my data. So let's just go to data sets. So my data, I just have a sample data. So data set churn. I just have sample data, testing churn data. So let me just take you through this data. So this is the sample data that we are going to use when making the predictions. So this is just the sample data that I've been using. So you can see we have about 10 clients and customers, and these are just fictitious names. These are not true names. These are fictitious names, and this again the emails. Again, you can only use your email that you used when signing up for Mailtrap. So because this is just for testing purposes, you can only use a single email for that. Then this is the feature age, gender, region, membership category. You can see premium, gold, silver, basic membership. If they joined through referral, the preferred offer type, medium of operation, smartphone, desktop, internet option, recency, average time spent. So you can see the different features. So these are different clients and customers that we are using. Again, this is just testing data that I've tried to maneuver. So let's see if we upload this data, if we can get some predictions on this data. So that was the data that we are going to use. I do think that I do feel that at the moment everything is quite okay, and we expect to get some results based on this prediction. So that's it. So let me just open the terminal, and I'm going to execute. So Python app.py. So that's it. So when that is run, I just want that everything to run on this. So this is the email address. From here, and then you will see the emails. So again, because this is I'm using a free account with Mailtrap, I can only use the email that I used to send. I used to sign up for a Mailtrap. So whatever messages in the testing environment that will be sent, it will come to this place. So we'll just visualize those emails, those messages here. Okay, so it won't be going to different email addresses. So after that, we can then run this. So just click on this link, and I think it will open here. So when it opens, you can come to this page. So this is the home page where you are having these welcoming messages. Welcome to the churn prediction system. To predict the churn risk of your customers, please follow these steps. So you can see some welcoming message with a little bit of designing here and there. So this is just a simple web application to predict. So this some instruction. Then you are going to start prediction. So click on that button. When you click on that button, you are taken to now this page. And in this page, you can see we have the instruction that it is telling you to upload the customer data. So choose the file, then just go to where you have saved the file, and mine is this testing churn data. So testing churn data, and upload that data. And when that is done, then you can click the button predict. So it will upload the data, follow these steps that we have provided here. And when everything is good to go, so these are the instructions that we have provided here. When everything is good to go, you'll get a message here. So you can see this is just uploading those stylings from the CSS file. Then you can see, yeah, you can now see info making prediction. Now you can see that data saved to your Mongo collection product churn data. Yep, I think that one is good to go. So let's go. This is for Mongo Atlas. So you can see the churn. Then you can see prediction churn data. When I open this, you can now see the data itself. You can see this is the data. You can now see this is the churn risk score. Now you can see this one is 1. And see for this customer, let me try to expand on this. So you can see for this customer, churn risk score is 2. You can see this one is 1. Let me see if you can get one for 0. So this one, yeah. For this one, you can see for this client, you can see that name is Gary Mathway. Churn risk score is 0. Okay, so this one is churn. For customer number 2, this is an active customer. This is an active customer. This one is this one is number 1. So you can see is maybe close to churn or still active. We don't know about it. So you can see for the different clients. So yeah, so this is why we need the Streamlit to produce these dashboards that will be necessary to visualize this especially the churn risk score. When we go back to you can see prediction now is complete. Now the predictions have been made and the email sent to the clients. So for example, this one you can now see now, this is the Mailtrap account status notification. So account status notification was our subject. And for example, you can see, so for example, you can see the first client, this one here. You can see age 50, the name is Aletinia Maintas. You can see that this is churn risk score is 1. And when we go back to this, we can see that if the churn risk score is 1, what text were they getting? So for 1, your subscription is nearing its renewal. So from that, you can see that dear the name, your subscription is nearing renewal. Please take the necessary action. Contact support for additional help. So I think that's it. For customer, let's see, for customer, if it is 2, we are happy to inform you that your subscription is in good standing. So again, let's look for that. It's in good, yeah, like for this one here, Karina Flanningham, we're happy to inform you that your subscription is in good standing. So if we go back to this one, you can see, I think, this one here, you can see, churn risk score is 2. For that one, for 0, this is 2, this one is 0. You can see the name is Gary. So for Gary, you can see and to this one here, you can see your subscription has expired. Please renew your subscription to continue enjoying your services. I think you now see that now the model is working. So we were able to execute that on this. So just taking you back, you can see that we are able to let me use a different pen. Let me use a different pen now. So let me use black one. So you can see we were able to input the data. So that was the request that we were making. Then after that, we were able to use a different pen. We are able to preprocess the data. So we are able to preprocess the data, use the model to make a prediction. Then we saw that we had a response in terms of the predictions, either 0, 1, and 2. Then after that, we were able to use Mailtrap to send the message. You saw that step. Then we were able to save our data in a new database collection, something like that. Then after that, we were able to, so the next phase is all about the retraining phase. But you can now see that we were able to develop all this. And surprisingly, it's working. It's working. Now we can say that we are able to develop this model up to this juncture. So I think that's it. That's it with this Flask application. So with the Flask application, you can now see that how you can develop this Flask application to perform a different type of tasks, including sending messages to the different customers depending on their churn score. So this is an example of a batch prediction system. So for the batch prediction system, you just collect your data. Then you can just, for example, as we did, upload that data, make predictions, then send different messages to the different clients. Okay? So again, there's still more we can do with this. We can automate this process, for example, using the Airflow and maybe timing this prediction and sending these messages. So for example, we can collect data for a single week. Then if we have a campaign, something like that, so we just change the text messages depending on the churn score. Then in a week's time, if we have collected enough data, we can make it automatic. So every Monday we are sending a new batch of information. Okay, so that's it. That's it from my side. I'm just going to update, send this to Git so that you can also have access to it. So let me git add. And you can do a git commit. Let's see which files we nope, supposed to be not supposed to be this, supposed to be so changes to be committed, app.py statics, templates.home, template index. Yep, I think these are the files that can commit. I think I just do away with this. You can just do a git status to see the specific files. So these are the files that you're going to commit. Then from here, you can just do a git commit with a message. So git commit -m. Then we can say a Flask app. So with the Flask app, let's say Flask app complete. Then from here we can do git status, git commit, git push -u origin to main. So that you also can get, so you can just git clone. Then you can also get all this code. So that's it. That's it with the Flask application. In the next phase, we are going to now tackle the Streamlit application. So with the Streamlit, basically the main intent with the Streamlit will be to try and with the Streamlit, the main objective will be to try and develop dashboards so that we can visualize the churn risk score as new data comes in. So as new data comes in, then you can see how we are updating those dashboards. So we can see how we can update those. So that will be the main purpose of the Streamlit, to generate these dynamic dashboards. So once again, that's it for this session. I'm welcoming you to the next session where we develop the Streamlit application, and that will be majorly a dashboard to visualize the churn risk score as new data is coming in. I'm very grateful for you taking time to watch these videos. Share it with your friends and colleagues. As before we sign off, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit that notification bell so that you never miss any of these updates. Like this video on your way out, and see you in the next one. Have a nice time.